Greetings, everyone. Y'all here with Denise Camille, Healing in Real Life, right? So, this topic episode, I want to talk about why peace feels uncomfortable. You know, most times we think that peace feels uncomfortable because something is wrong. Because we were so used to that chaotic environment, the environment of too much movement, the TV being on late at night, the lights never shutting off, you know, the sirens driving by in the city. For some of us, the gunshots. Those were the norms. Those were the norms of chaotic living and lifestyle and upbringing, right? And it's interesting because I talk about those things in my book, Urban Life with Love. Yet I digress. Peace feels uncomfortable. Why does it feel uncomfortable? No, it's not wrong. No, something isn't off when you do obtain peace. It's more of recognizing that my nervous system is allowed to relax, right? And it's those unfamiliarities of healing, right? Why peace feels uncomfortable when you're healing. Sometimes you have to look at yourself when you're going through your healing process, because it's almost like you see your old self fading, and yet your new self is almost unrecognizable in the mirror. Let me say that again. You see your old self fading away, almost like you're here, yet it's getting distorted, it's getting lighter, it's shading away, it's shedding away. I talked about that in the first episode. Yet you're not recognizing your new self coming in because the patterns are different, right? The behavior patterns, the recognition of your lifestyle. It's not what you used to do, yet it's what you need to do where you are in your life at this moment, right? What's actually going on is you're shedding. And that goes back to what I talked about in the first episode of Healing in Real Life, where, excuse me, when you're used to growing up in chaos or survival mode, you're not able to ever recognize peace. Why? Because peace is that place of misunderstanding. Most times we're taught peace in Christianity is understanding. How could you understand peace if you never were around chaos? That goes back to my quote, one of my quotes. Growth is knowing what you don't want. You know you don't want chaos, and yet you strive for peace. Yet peace seems so uncomfortable because you've been in survival mode for majority of your upbringing, right? This is why a lot of adults are still children, because they're still in that mental mode of, as a child, I acted like a child. Yet we forget, as an adult, we need to behave like adults, not grown children. There's a difference, right? Where the survival mode created a dysregulation of our nervous system, where we weren't able to move in a place of peace. We had to move in a place of chaos. We had to almost like play chess with everybody else's life around us because we were being checkered as children, right? And yet knowing that peace felt uncomfortable because we were always in that mode of surviving, of doing as we're told, not what we do. And the majority of us, again, as adults, ended up doing what we saw, even though we were told not to do it. It's like, but love is in action, not in words. So what you told me, you didn't even do. And then here we are doing the same things, the same patterns that our parents and our environment, our village did without even thinking logically or putting an intention to defining peace, we define tradition over peace. So peace becomes unfamiliar because we're used to tradition and not peace. And the unfamiliarity of peace is what is needed for growth. It's what is needed for progress. It's what is needed for searching for your purpose within the life and lifestyle that you've created. And in going through peace, you're basically checking off the things that need to go. And I was going to say room to grow, yet need to go, because it's inevitable that if you're searching for peace, you're going to move away from chaos. That may be breaking up with certain people, removing friendships out of your life, removing partnerships out of your life, removing your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your vices. Thank you. Out of your life. Removing those things that no longer serve you. So it's finding that peace is recognizing that your patterns did not define your purpose. It only defined your place. Like, I remember when, after those many, many, many years of being with my ex-husband, and the first step was to move out. And it was difficult in many ways because he was a mental manipulator, narcissist, all that, whatever. And every time I'd pull into the driveway, Spirit would tell me, Denise, you're blocking your abundance here. You're blocking your abundance. Every day coming home from work, you're blocking your abundance. And it's almost like that should have been enough, right? You got your spirit realm talking to you, and you're like, excuse me. And it took for me, fast forward, that it took for me to have one of my daughters get a reading, and the first thing the reader said was a question to me, like, when are you moving? I was like, can't lie to the ancestors, can't lie to the spirit realm, okay? I remember sitting down, we sat down, the older two, and we told them, your peace is more important than your place. And in order for that to happen, we asked them, did you want two healthy parents? And they said, yeah, we do. And I was like, okay, well, for that to happen, we would have to be in separate places because we needed peace. And I remember moving, finally getting a place, everything worked itself out. Yet I remember moving, and for the first 2 months of the move, it didn't feel right. That's what I'm looking for. It didn't feel right. Yet it was peaceful. It was definitely peaceful. It was definitely peaceful. Yet it didn't feel right because of all the years it was wrong. Come on, somebody. And I would say subconsciously during that time, that marriage, that it's subconsciously, it was connected, yet consciously it wasn't connected. And I would say, we're so unhealthy, it's healthy. It was so comfortably wrong, it became the norm. And then when I finally changed it, the peace became uncomfortable because I wasn't used to serenity. I was used to eggshells and shutdowns and just being strangers in each other's home, you know? And that wasn't comfortable for my nervous system. Yet when I moved and I had so much peace, my nervous system was now attempting to re-regulate itself, now attempting to heal, now attempting to slowly but surely do the work once I finally got it out of my system. And that took some time. It took some years, yet those first 2 months were very prominent for me to remember and recollect because the peace was there, yet it was so uncomfortable that I found myself mourning the relationship like a death for the first 2 months. And I remember an older colleague at the time when I was working in corporate, she said, because she had been through a marriage as well, and she's like, oh, child, you just grieving the relationship. And I said, what? And she's like, yeah, it's like a death. It was a relationship. It was 17 years. It was something that needed to die. You know, we sometimes only associate death with actual people, that's tangible, not realizing time that we put into something, it's an investment. It's like a human being, right? It's like the birth of something, the marriage, right? The time, even before the marriage, all those years of only knowing that entity. And I'm going to say that in so many words, I'm not going to spin it today yet. For those that caught it, catch it, keep it, hold it. Only knowing those routines, those phrases, those behavior patterns, right? Only knowing that for all those years, and then to know that it no longer exists in your world. That's a death, right? That's a death. And that's a compartment in your brain that you have to kind of pick up the box and now go through the paperwork and the years. And almost like when we store paperwork from years and jobs past, we have to grieve it because it's no longer there. So just like with that, with the peace, the happiness, the uncomfortability, it felt uncomfortable, yet I knew it was right. Even when we have situations with other people, we hold on just because we gave them time. Yeah, we don't owe them anything. The only thing we owe ourselves is our peace. And that means removing ourselves from that element of that lifestyle, right? So it's having to know that between the mind finding peace, the heart finding peace, the spirit finding peace, and to feel how the body finds peace. I remember there was this one old daycare provider I had, and she was a heavy-set woman. She was with her husband, and they had one child, and she was watching my children when they were younger. I had the first two at the time. And some time had passed. I pulled them out. They were in school at the time, and the gym was always my second home because that was my peace for all those years when I was dealing with that marriage. And she comes up to me, and she's like, hey, Denise. And I almost spit out the water I was drinking at the moment because I didn't recognize her. And when I put it together, I done threw the towel down. I'm like, what? And she's cracking up. She lost so much weight. And I tell anybody, my nutritionist hat, weight is never actual weight. It's the burdens of other people that we're carrying. The anxiety of how they make us feel, or how we allow them to make us feel. Let's talk about it. And she had dropped so much weight. And when I had to throw myself off of that machine and follow, like, what? And it was more of, she told me how, long story short, she had to leave him because he was abusing her physically and doing it in front of their daughter and all types of stuff. But when enough was enough, she finally said, that's it, I've had it. And she got into the gym doing things for herself, and someone must have dropped at least about 100 pounds. And she was like, this is what I used to look like before I met him. I now have peace. And I'm not saying ladies run out and go leave. I'm not on a couples counselor. Stop doing it. What I am saying is, if you know that it's not the right person for you, go find your peace. Go find your peace. And your peace is normally not even another person. Your peace is finding yourself. Right? Your peace is finding that you no longer have to live the life or the environment that you were in. Whether that had been the childhood mentality environment, attracting a mate from the parents you haven't healed from, whether that would have been you not knowing the true intentions of why you got in that relationship because you sacrificed your peace, recognizing how uncomfortable peace felt. Imagine if peace, just stick a pin in that conversation real quick. Imagine if peace was an invisible person always sitting next to you. Imagine if peace was your spirit guide. That person, entity sitting next to you no matter where you went. And peace is sitting there like, you gonna let him talk to you like that? You gonna let your mother use you again like that? If peace really had a voice, but peace is yet so patient, so kind, so serene. Peace is, I'll wait. Peace is that perfect man. I'm serious though, think about it. Peace is that perfect man that every woman wishes they had. The one who would just wait on her, rub her feet when she's tired. The one who would just give her the things she needs without her having to ask for it. That's what peace is. Peace is that regulation of a system in and outside of self, because it's teaching you how to grow for you. Peace is that it starts out being uncomfortable because, again, we've thrown our nervous system to the wolves. We've fed it poison with the things we put in our bodies, the addictions, the vices. It's the people we keep around us for the sake of a title, whether it be a mate, a child, a parent. We hold on to these things, these titles of family, and I've been friends with them since high school, since kindergarten. Okay, the season is over. Let it go. Right? It's peace. It's knowing that we never had a chance to build a relationship with peace because peace seemed uncomfortable because it was too blunt. Peace seemed uncomfortable because it was too truthful. Peace seemed uncomfortable because it was right. And most of us don't like being told the truth. Yet, having to know that peace is that respect. That people say, put some respect on my name. Let's start with putting peace as your name. Right? Denise Peace Camille. Or Denise Camille Peace. It's having to be uncomfortable with marrying peace. What if peace was your husband or your wife? What would that look like for you? Would that really be uncomfortable? Or would it be something where you got to work on it because you don't know peace? You don't know peace enough to know, hey, I'm cool with you because I'm cool with myself. Or it's like, nah, I got to take the time to know peace. Who don't want to know peace? I want to know what's going on around. I want to be distracted. I want to be thrown to the wolves. I want to be in the know and not know because I don't know peace. Get to know peace through your uncomfortable stages of healing, because you'll realize the body is healing, the nervous system is regulating, the spirit is thankful, right? It's connecting. It's like now you're finally able to plug into self, plug into source, plug into the consciousness that's within you that you manifest outside of you. Give yourself the gracious gift of peace. Right. All right, y'all. This has been a quick talk. I am Denise Camille, the Urban Love Therapist, Self-Awareness Coach. This episode's Healing in Real Life. Check out the book, Urban Life with Love, 5 Languages We Speak. I look at it as therapy in a book where after every chapter, there are questions to ask yourself. I don't know why that song came in. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. In the book, you're defining love for self. Right? Use a pencil. Because you don't have to erase like, nah, that's not what I meant. That's not how I feel. That's not how I felt. Do the work. Peace is uncomfortable until you realize you need to build a relationship with peace. All right, y'all, take care. Give thanks. Peace.